Today, home gardening is a $17 billion a year business.
$17 billion. That clip from the movie is what sparked this video. How to frugal garden. Why is it that backyard gardening needs to cost $17 billion a year? I don't think it does. So here are my tips for how to keep our money out of those bigwigs' hands and back safely in our own wallets. Number one, my first tip for frugal gardening would be to start your own seeds. Starting your own seeds versus buying transplants from the garden can literally save a person a lot of money. I mean, it depends on the size of your garden. If you have just a small garden, it may only save $10 or $20, but if you have a big homestead like we do, the amount of seed starts, amount of transplants that I would need that I instead start from seeds would literally cost hundreds of dollars. So by starting your own seeds, you can save a lot of money versus buying transplants. My number two tip would be to buy bare roots instead of potted plants. A potted plant can easily cost twice as much or 3 times as much as a bare root. So buy those bare roots, and if you have trouble getting them started, last year I posted a video on how to make those bare roots that are kind of finicky and tough to grow into a potted plant by potting your bare roots into potted plants. So maybe I'll post that video in the description below. But that also can save lots and lots of money. Or it can make it so you can plant even more in your garden than you would normally be able to. If your budget would only allow you to plant this much by buying bare roots, maybe you'll be able to go a lot further with it. So my third tip would be to avoid overbuying on tools. This is a pitfall I think many people fall into because there are so many available, and when we go to visit those tool sections of the store, it seems like there's dozens and dozens of things to choose from. We must need all of them in order to keep our lawns and gardens looking good, right? I don't think so. I think that the simple tools are what's best. Maybe just a trowel and a spade, a good quality hose, a hand sprayer, or a sprinkler that you can spray overhead. A few simple things like this can really go a long way. And we don't need all those specialized tools in order to get the job done. Also, I think that if we were to buy quality tools secondhand rather than non-quality tools brand new, we can also save ourselves a lot of money. Many times I have seen quality tools for half the price of a brand new low quality one in a store, and the quality one will last, who knows, maybe my whole lifetime. Some of the ones I have I've been using the whole time I've been gardening, which is like 11 years now. So definitely go for the quality tools, and to help keep that expense from being too high, go for secondhand. And when it comes to bigger stuff, rototillers and aerators and things, maybe consider sharing that expense with someone else. Maybe your mom and your brother need their lawns aerated as well, or your neighbor or your friend would like to rototill up a space for their own garden. So when you go to rent it, coordinate with them so that you can rent it, do all of the yards at once, one after the other, return the tool, and then you can share the expense from having rented it. So these types of things also can help save some money as well. My next tip would be to make your own fertilizer. If we keep pets and things, not pets so much, I think of my chickens as pets, that's why I call them that, but if you keep animals that can, give you leavings that you can add to your compost, or if you save stuff from your kitchen waste, you can turn it into what the organic gardeners call black gold. Taking something that would normally be trash and turning it into a treasure. Rather than throwing that stuff away and then buying fertilizer, just turn that stuff into your own fertilizer by making your own compost. This can save a ton of money, and it's also a lot healthier for us and the garden as well. My next tip would be to grow what your family likes the most or what's most expensive. If your daughter loves cucumbers and she just can't get enough of them, by all means, grow all the cucumbers you can, because that's going to save a ton of money on the family food budget, as well as buying or growing things that would be expensive to purchase. If apples are 3 for $1, but cherries are $5 a pound, maybe a cherry tree would be a better investment than the apple tree would be, because if you're buying those cherries, it would cost a lot more money to do so. So I would recommend growing things that are expensive to buy, or the things that your family use the most. This will help save your family the most money as well. The next thing would be to make careful decisions about what you're planting in your yard. I just recorded a video last week about how to buy seeds, And I did mention in that video that it's really important to make careful decisions about plants that are going to be space-wise and that are going to, you know, perform the best in your area, because what you choose to put in your garden and what you choose to plant in your yard can make all the difference in the world as far as how well it turns out. So this isn't a decision that should be made quickly. Don't run into the store with a very limited amount of time hoping to grab the first thing and then just expect it all to work out. I really think it needs more careful planning than that, and to read those packets and to do your research and make sure that those things are going to work out. I mean, don't take it too seriously, but definitely like compare and make sure that you're trying to make the best decision possible, because, you know, making careful and space-wise choices can really make the garden more productive for the least amount of money, and can ultimately help, contribute to the frugal garden. And then lastly, grow organically. There are a lot of different mistakes that are made in the garden that can help combat why people need to use those pests and herbicides, or feel like they need to use pests and herbicides anyway. The first thing to do is to plant things with the proper spacing. That way they're not overcrowded, because overcrowding can really contribute to diseases, outbreaking and spreading like crazy. The next thing would be to make sure you're observing proper crop rotation. Don't plant the same thing in the same spot every single year. Make sure you plant this here, the same thing here next year, and so on, so that the diseases don't have a chance to just keep coming back from that same spot where they're being planted. So that can help a lot with plant health. And the last thing would be to companion plant. There are a lot of things that you can plant next to one another that make it so that you can keep the pests away. So by doing these things, planting things with proper spacing, observing proper crop rotation, and by companion planting, you basically eliminate the need to have to buy that expensive chemicals anyway. And so gardening organically is cheaper, a lot cheaper, and it's also a lot more healthy for your garden, and it's a lot healthier for us. So I hope you found this video helpful. There are a lot of different ways that you can frugal garden, but these are my top ways that I use to make sure that I'm getting what I want for the least amount of money possible. I'm Frugal Green Girl. Thanks for watching.